Hello, thanks for being here. Sorry I didn't have a morning show this morning, but we'll make up for it right now. What the frickin' market do selling off like this? I can't even take a little time off without the market selling off. I mean, even the good ones, even K yield was down 3.5. I mean, you got to be kidding me. What the heck? All right. Well, that chart right there of the SPY, 30-minute SPY, doesn't look terrible. I've seen worse looking charts, but I don't like K yield being down 3.5. Let's look at the Qs. It doesn't look terrible. It's got to be this one, right? Yeah, just fell out of bed this morning. Man. I mean, the only thing we can say at this point is we're making a higher low. I mean, who knows if that'll hold, but my gosh. Ooh, that's ugly. That's ugly right there. Blocks down 7, ULTI down 10. All right, well, let's look at, I guess we have all that information right here also. There's really no good news on here. I mean, QLDY was only down 0.5%. That's really good news, considering the Qs were down 0.5% also. Other than this chart's not looking that good because this is the 1-day change. So everything else other than QLDY is making multiples on the downside of what the market's doing. And then, of course, in the past month and a half, it's not much better. I mean, K yield looks all right, but a lot of the other ones, not so much. QLDY looks really good, only down 3%. I mean, I say only because the other ones are down even more. That sucks. It's been a tough month. All right, so I think I had this working. That's why I was late. No, that's still something wrong there. Diversified divas. Yeah, okay, here it is. Well, anyway, this one right here. So right here, we can look at all the stocks in ULTY's portfolio and which ones were down the most. Coinbase was down 6%. SMR, New Scale was down 5%. Iron was down 11%. They had a few stocks that were up, Lamb Research and Southern Copper and a few others. But their average stock was down 2.3%, and ULTY itself was down about 2%. On K yield, let's see, their average stock was down 2.3%, and K yield was actually down 3.5% somehow. What's going on with K yield? K yield only had one winner in the whole stable. They had AppLovin, which was up, and Teradyne. So they had two winners, and everything else was a loser. No huge losers, no like 10% or anything, other than Bitmine Immersion, which was an 11% loser, and it's nearly 4% of their funds. So this cost them, about 37 basis points, about 40 basis points. And you can see that right here. They did a lot worse than 40 basis points. That was just 40 basis points of it. The rest of this added on too. All right. And then on Blocks was down like 7 today. Well, Blocks is top holding this total. And that was down a lot. I mean, Iron was down 11%. Hut 8 was down 14. Cypher's down 13. These are all in this portfolio. Riot Blockchain's down 10. Bitmine Immersion's down 11. Circle's down 9. I mean, this was tough sledding today for this lineup. This was tough sledding. The average stock was down 5.8. Blocks itself was down 7%. Anyway, all right, well, tough sledding. What you going to do? That happens sometimes. Let's see what. Now, speaking of tough sledding, let's see what happened to ULTI. Now, ULTI, probably the only good thing we can say is they're 9% in cash. I bet they wish they were a lot more in cash, or prior to today, in other words, because this wasn't good. Down 10.4. Their average stock was down 4.6, but somehow they're getting double their average stock on the downside. But they just had some, I mean, they had some of this nano nuclear that was down 11%. What else? They had this Applied Digital, which was down 17. Bloom Energy down 6. Oklo down 6, 5 or 6. Galaxy down 8. AST Space Mobile down 12. Yeah, it was a tough day for these funds. All right, well, tough day for those funds. Let's look at the index buffer report. I don't think any of those guys reported a dividend today or went X. I don't think there's anything else to talk about on the divas other than that. The only thing to talk about on the divas is QLDY is just looking tougher and tougher by the day. All right, index buffer report. Well, gosh darn it. I mean, let's go over here to the left. Feet was leading on the way down. Feet was leading on the way down. Okay, doesn't surprise me. These other ones, the SPY really didn't move that much. The NASDAQ was down 0.5 point, and I mean, some good ones. There's nothing wrong with SEPI or AIPI. I mean, I know a lot of people like those. It's just it's not good for for the underlines in their baskets. LFGY, blocks, ULTY, K yield, even old WPay was just getting hurt today. 3%. I mean, even YMAX, which is usually fairly, steady, was down 1.4. Only things that were up were Salty and YQQQ. Well, let's look at the yield max buffer report. Not really a lot to see here. Not a lot to see here. Looks like JPMO outperformed the parent a little bit, and a few of them underperformed the parent. Snowy underperformed the parent, and that's about it. And so did Alti, of course, and aptly underperformed the parent just a little bit. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Hey, DJen. Hey, Marcus, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. All right, so now what I'm want to do is I want to go to, I want to go to Stock Tools. All right, my bad. I'm putting it over there so everyone can see it. Let's see what's going on the income ETF analysis. Let's see on a single day basis what's going on. Come on. All right. Well, here we should have it. All right. Unfortunately, we have winner leading the way today, and Fiat's number 2. All right, but seriously though, good news though. TS2 is I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good to be up 2.9 when the parent asset's up 3.5, but also on a day where the rest of the market's down. Good job, TS2. Here's TSLW. Same thing. Parent's up 3.5. TSLW's up nearly 3. Great job. TSLP, same thing. Parent's up 3.5. TSLP's up nearly 3. TSLY, same thing, except it's only up 2.4. Abney looks good as well, and so does BRKW. TSYY getting in on some of the action too here with the little leveraged Granite shares action. JPMO, we saw that on my buffer report. That one was outperforming the parent, I believe. Murney, right? Or it was underperforming. There was something it was doing. I pointed it out in the report. We should be able to see it here, but yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's outperforming the parent, which is rare. That most funds don't usually do that, especially not over any period of time. Sometimes over a day here or a week here or something maybe. But anyway, all right. Well, even old Murney's having its day in the sun today. NVDY. All right. Well, this is great. Let's go and look at a week. Let's go and look at a week. I did not see the new Granite shares. We can darn sure take a look at that or talk about that or whatever. Give me some put more about it in the comments. Well, what's the underline? I probably have seen it anyway. Okay, so but on the week, look at this: TSLW up 9.9% when the parent's just up 8. Fiat, of course, winner, of course, but look at old TSLP. I mean, killing it on the week, up 7.5, and the parent's up 8.1. TS2 doing a great job, up about 7. TSLY doing a great job, up about 6 2/3. GDXY looks good. DIPS looks good. Murney, IAUI from NEOS, their gold fund, looking good. YQQQ getting in on the action. Of course, the inverse. JPMO's having some, it's been doing well lately. Old PLTW is always good. PLYY. Even Platy right there. There's Platy. IWMI. These could all be good funds. Okay, so did I see there's a new Granite shares coming out? No, and then you said it's all the single stock. Okay, perfect. So it's a fund of funds. I think that's a great idea. I think that's such a good idea. Hey, Ambassador, I saw you comment on Mike Coe's show. I was watching it just prior to coming on here, and I saw that you left some well wishes or whatever. Trying to think what else I have to show you guys. Did anyone see my content on the fund Swan or Synth? Check out this SNTH, MRP Synth Equity. Look at that thing. Look how it barely went down in April, and it's just been climbing nonstop since then. And then there's another one called Swan, and then there's one called iSwan. Anyway, I made content on it this morning. It's kind of not a great video, and not very many people watched it. But anyway, but it's talking about synthetic equity, and these guys are hedging, but they aren't using puts. They're using calls, but they're still hedged. Anyway, go watch the video. I thought it was somewhat interesting. But this Swan, and then there's another one called iSwan, which is the international swan, and but they just use leaps as substitute for stocks, and so because of the leaps, it gives them leverage, but they don't use the leverage to double up or anything, but they use the leverage so they don't have to put as much cash down for the stock, and then they use the rest of the money in the funds to buy T-bills. So they have funds that are like 80 or 90% T-bills with a few futures, or a few positions in there. Anyway, it's interesting. In a bullish market, it works really well. You don't need all that. You don't need all that stock. But see, they have. But yeah, that's mostly, and that's why they call it black swan. It's only like 8% of the fund. Even if the market went to zero, their option contracts. I was looking at one fund last night. I don't remember which one was only like 8% of the fund. The option contracts could go to zero, and the fund would still have 92% of its money. And that's the way it's designed. That's why it uses option contracts. So if you have a big pullback, this strategy, it wasn't going during 2008, 2009. At least this fund wasn't. But in the back test, this strategy did really well in 2008. But because you can only lose that because it's just all they're doing is they're substituting options for stocks. So anyway, it's interesting. So the two funds that do it are Swan and, or there's three funds, Swan and Synth. But then that led me to a whole discussion. It's not too much different from that to start talking about things like SBAR, and they're just using options in a different kind of way, but to move the risk and reward around and to make it a lot safer bet, and then we could look at auto callable bonds, but there's a lot of good things out here. If the market goes down next year, whatever, there's something like ZDEC you can't lose in. ZDEC it's impossible to lose. I think there's so many of these. I think I'm getting mixed up on which one this is, but they have these defined protection ETFs where they sell calls to buy puts. Anyway, my video this morning was about this industry. So, no, that's good to know, Ambassador. I'd like to. If anyone has a prospectus on that, I'm sure Marcus has put the prospectus on our Discord. I probably just didn't see it. Or it may not say a lot. There's a prospectus in there from Rex that says nothing. I think it may be the Rex fund of funds, but there's I can't make any content out of it. There's no discernible information. It's just like a boilerplate prospectus. Anyway, but I'll keep an eye out for that. I'm excited about that. You saw it. You're very interested in black swan funds. Yeah. Well, and that's a really cool idea on the black swan. And really, Charles, who's here right now, Charles had this idea a long time ago. When I first was emailing with Charles like 2 years ago, I forget how we were talking about it, but Charles was showing me a big collar that you could put on the market and earn. Anyway, it was a similar deal, and where you could lock in a profit. But there's a whole industry now of funds that do that have some type of collar or whatever on the market. PFIX is still kick out. Yeah, if that equity drops. So the guys in Discord were giving me a hard time about, because all I ever like to talk about is crypto and, alti and blocks or whatever. But I'm trying to branch out and put different kinds of funds in the new Max Factor, like closed-end funds and stuff like that. And what did they give me? They gave me, was it this one today? I don't know if it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. There's something like this. That's not actually that bad looking, but no. Anyway, but I'm trying to put more closed-end funds and more different types of things in the Max Factor. Any type of income opportunity. It wasn't that one, but yeah. So PFIX is an interest rate hedge. So I would think it means if rates go up. Yeah, so well, I mean, it looks like this thing just has a nice gentle up and to the right slope. Yeah. That's a good looking chart right there. 3-year performance of 41%. 1-year total return of 19. Yeah, Charles, that's a good call. Yeah, it was HDLB, but there was another one too that you were giving me. Yeah, that is right. I do know that was one of them. It is right. But then there was another one, TDVI or something, that also came up somewhere else. And the reason I know it is because I looked it up in FinViz, and the FinViz window was still open. But but it's this window now. Anyway, and it was like TD, and it was something. But I went and put it in the Max Factor, and I try to, anytime I have one in here that matches the, especially if it pays monthly, heck yeah, if it pays monthly, and especially if it pays double digits, this pays double digits monthly, heck yeah. I can't remember if we added this one, but I have a new, if you guys want to look at the Max Factor, let's, yeah, I have a fresh Max Factor right here. I don't know if it'll have those newest ones in there yet. All right. Well, it's the same old ones every time. I mean, Google, AMDW, K Gold, TSLP, Silvo, XLVI, SWZ. This is freaking closed-end fund slips. It's not supposed to be in there. Come on, closed-end funds. And now that you start letting closed-end funds in, and then they start getting in the top 10. What's next? Are they going to be number one? I mean, am I going to do? I'm just joking. Anyway, no, that's awesome. That is awesome. XYLG, iGold, but there are some legit good ones in here. IAUI, iGold. It's been a great time to have either of those, or Silvo, or to have any of these. Oh my gosh. If you have any of these, especially like AMDW, look at this one. 90 days ago, it was at 46. Now it's at 50, and it's been paying an 81% yield. So you're up 10.4 on NAV. And so the yield's like free money. It feels like, because you're getting the yield and the NAV's going up. Best of both worlds. I mean, K Gold's not paying a lot of yield, but I mean, its NAV has gone from 24.37 to $30. It's up like it's it's gained a quarter of its value. TSLP's Silvo, lots of good ones on there. Lots of good ones on there. Yeah, it was an ugly day, though. It was an ugly day, especially, I mean, for the diversified divas. That was the first thing we looked at right here. I mean, the divas, I mean, we had one diva down 10.4. I mean, that's like, I mean, lost 10% of its value in one day. There's divas, and that's, I mean, that diva needs to check into rehab right away. I mean, and this blocks isn't doing much better, down 7% in one day. I mean, and K yield. I mean, K yield's down 3.5. And I mean, it's just a rough day for these types of stocks. ULTY was got killed also, but not nearly as much as those three. I mean, heck, even old WPay was down 3%. Of course, LFGY was down. LFGY always finds a way to catch, but I mean, QLDY, QLDY every day is just, is a steady performer. Pays twice a week. But yeah, it was a rough day. It was a rough day. Treasury and bond ETFs were good today. Yep. I know it. It needs to go to freaking, 10% of its value in one day. I mean, that happens, but man, that is a bad day. So I was going to look at ULTIs. There's ULTIs. All right. So here's their stocks. I mean, so, they're long a bunch of stocks that went down big. So that's problem number one. They're long CoreWeave, and it was down 8.5. They're long Oklo, and it was down 11. They just got killed. And then over here, it looks like some of these were hedged and some of them weren't, but I bet they wish all of them were hedged because, I mean, down 10%. That's crazy. If you look at it, it's been worse for these guys. Let's take dividends off. No, it hasn't. Okay, it's a new all-time low. All right, well, probably for ULTY also. Yeah. Look at Blocks, though. Blocks is still above, even after today's bad price action, is still well above their last swing low, which is interesting. And let's look at K yield, just for comparison purposes. K yield looks about like Blocks. Just looking at it on charts, and ULTY looks about like ULTI. Yeah, very bad. Very bad. Yeah. So far, it's in the top three for sure. All right, Mac, look for correlations. They're holding buys the same trash somewhere. Yeah. No, I know it. They're in the meme economy stuff. They aren't. At least the other alti switched their strategy to be not so memey. Which makes them a little less volatile. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. The alti has Murney is dependent on the underlying. Yeah, Murney's really. Murney's not a Murney. Is, Myrna is a broken stock. That's not Murney's fault. I mean, poor Murney. I mean, it's anyway. Mark, I think that MST is worse than Murney. It just reverse split and it's already back to $6. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and that's not is that really MST's fault that it's double leveraged? It's doing probably what it's supposed to do, but yeah, double leveraged in a declining market, that thing's just a hot mess, unfortunately. Yeah, they do. Oh, I know it. I know it. I don't know what's. Oh my God, Randy. That. Oh, yeah. It's definitely the most diva. It's the biggest diva on the stage. There was supposed to be an ETF that did a weekly iron. Yes. Or I'm trying to remember. There's been so many that filed for, but there was a company that filed for a whole line of iron condors and other type things that no one else applied for. And it was a company I never heard of. And it was like a year ago, and they never did bring them out. But yeah, I remember those. That's essentially what Alti's doing. Alt-I. I mean, they're doing iron butterflies, but that they're essentially just, you know. Now I think this fund that was going to do iron condor, I think was going to really do them. But yeah, but anyway, they never did come out. They never did come out. Yeah, Marcus, it makes you want to just hold winter indefinitely. I mean, we have to have better alternatives though, because winter's just inverse. Mister, which is fine, but at some point, Michael Saylor, maybe it's one company, maybe before he gets it together for 6 months and the price triples or something. So, I mean, I don't know, but I like the idea of the fund that's just short. What's it called? B hedge. I mean, I think that one might be interesting. It's short just Bitcoin generally, not just one company. So anyway, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we do need an inverse alti. An inverse alti would make bank. Inverse of both altis, it would be making bank. Absolutely. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Why do you think WPay is dropping so much? Well, that's just because WPay with WPay, let's look. I don't know. I suspect it's because of the leverage and because the funds they're invested in maybe drop at a faster rate than the market does. I mean, because it's a fund. WPay is a fund of funds, but I mean, so that's what WPay looks like, and here's what the market looks like. So. I mean, WPay is definitely a lot more bearish than the market. They just have they must have a bunch of crypto stuff in there because if you look at WPay and then look at IBIT, or whatever, it could have been HODL or ETHA, whatever. This part of the market is in a severe bear market. ETHA, HODL, it doesn't matter what you put in here, but like Bitmine immersion, I mean, is this stock going to be all right? I hope so. Hope Tom Lee knows what he's doing, right? But basically, I think it's just because WPay has, and they have some risky stocks in there. They do well on the way up, though. And also because they use 20% leverage. So it's because they're a little bit riskier than some things, and they use leverage. WPay excludes some of the single stock funds. So I wish WPay would do XDTE, but I don't think it does that one, right? I think I thought it only did the single stock W series funds like TSLW, MSTW, whatever W. I thought that's what it did. I wish it would also do um, some of the other ones, but I thought it only did the single stock ones. But they probably have one in there that's like not all of them. Okay, that's good to know. I was going to say maybe they have one in there that's like Murney or something. There's always one bad apple in every bunch that messes it up for everybody else. I mean, WPay is just looking at their chart. It's just about on making a new low. Whereas other things that you could look at, like the SPY or the NASDAQ or whatever, are nowhere close to making new lows. So I didn't realize how bearish WPay actually was. But also, to be fair, I think that was with dividends turned off. So, I mean, in real life, it's not doing as bad as that looks, but it still doesn't look great. Oh, well. Yeah, that's what I always thought. I didn't really study WPay. Should, since I own it, but I thought it just included all the round hill of the W series, those weekly, and that's the weekly ones with leverage. That's always what I thought, and they're adding more of those all the time. Because also they're weekly, and they're leveraged. But yeah, it's all of these. That's what I thought anyway. AAPW, AMDW, AMZW, ARMW, AVGOW, BABW, BERKW, CoinW, Costco W, Google W, Hood W, Facebook W, NVDW, NFLW, NFLU or W, MSTW, MSFW, PLTW, TSLW. Oh, there's an Uber W now. I need to make sure these are all in the max factor, but it doesn't include, and I wish it would be, I think just throw everything in there, make an index of all indexes, but anyway, it's not going to include these other things in here. You guys, I know some of you guys have this GDXW. I don't know if I know anyone that has GLDW yet or that one, but man, that's a pretty good looking lineup there. It's a pretty good looking lineup. Hey, Bond, how are you doing, bud? That is a pretty good looking lineup. So Yield Boost is coming out with the fund of funds. Let's pull up the Yield Boost. It's about time. They might as well. They have enough now. Look, they have Tesla, SPY, SMCI, Taiwan Semiconductor, Riot Blockchain, Rigetti, NASDAQ, QBTS, Palti, Palantir, whatever, NVIDIA, MicroStrategies, Facebook, Mara, IONQ. I mean, they have quite a lineup, and they have some ones that other companies don't have, like IONQ. I've never seen another company have a covered call fund on IONQ. Maybe there's ones that just have leverage on those, but this is leverage and options. So I think this is interesting. I think that I don't know if I would get it, but I think these guys will come out the fund to funds. It might be interesting, and I bet some people would get it. I mean, what's their fund? XBTY. Of course, all of those types of funds are getting killed, but I just punched in two of them randomly, and XBTY is doing way better than XBIT, whatever XBIT is. But let's do. I never even heard of XBIT. Let's do YBIT. XBIT. All right, so let's do YBIT. Well, all right. I mean, because I hear people gripe about XBTY a bunch. Maybe let's punch in YBTC. Or what about that BCCC? Do any of you guys have that one? That's supposedly from Global X, and that one always does well on the max factor. But YBTC, it looks like, does a little better protecting capital than. None of these are doing very well because of the recent pullback. I mean, what they were doing well this summer. I mean, just a few months ago, they were both up 15%. Total return, probably not that much but on total return, and now they're both down, almost that much. Hate to see it. How about the little BCCC? Little Global X Bitcoin right there, doing a good job protecting capital. It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news. Mark is saying he might add a little UNHW. Going to watch it for a couple of weeks first. So far, the NAV's holding, but they haven't paid the distribution yet. Yeah, it's important to see if it's going to be able to recover. Is it going to get destroyed and never come back? Hopefully not. All depends on UNH. And UNHW, but let's look at UNH. Or UNHW. Heck yeah, reverse. That's a reverse head and shoulders, cup and handle, whatever. That's a bullish pattern, right? I mean, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Round Hill weekly pay. Heck yeah. 56-cent dividend. It was WinX today. Good. I'm glad. Drakey's been a good one. DRKY. Oh, Drucky. Yeah, the Druckenmiller one. I was thinking something else. Okay. Kick ass. There's so many of these, and but yeah, this is this guy Stanley Druckenmiller and his philosophy. The Druck macro distribution. So, well, let's look at it here. This is a very fun way to look at it. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that one, Marcus. That's the old Drucky. I mean, it's been a good time to be invested in this fund. It's gone straight up. October, everyone thought was going up in October. I get that, but it kept going up in November. I mean, it did pull back a little in mid-November when everything did, I guess. So I guess that's about right. But I mean, so is it it's probably a 15% target fund. It's paid 2% so far, 26 cents, 25 cents. Yeah, whatever 25 times 12 is probably comes to 15% of 20, which would be 750. Right? Or no, it should be $3. So I bet it does. I bet 25 times 12. It's $3, right? Yeah, of course. Anyway, all right. Drunky. Yeah, Druckenmiller, Stanley Druckenmiller. Marcus, check out DX doing well with all the rate cuts. It's an MREIT. Let's check out this DX. Dynex Capital. Looking good. Pays monthly dividends, about 14%. I mean, steady nav kind of gently goes up and to the right. Yeah. That looks really good. So that Drucky one pay a yield? Yeah, it does pay a yield. It's his macro view, but it's also a yield fund. Because it's a 15% target fund, that Drucky, I think. But I think maybe that's just what they do. This Granny is also a yield. I don't think they target 15 though or anything. But it's because it's an I, right? They have a Granny with the Y that's not, but the I means income, premium income or something like that. And this has not paid a yield yet. We were just talking about that. And DX was okay a year ago. Yeah, now I hear you. I hear you. All right. So what's on deck for the daily factor? It's Monday. So yeah, it's Misty Monday. So we're going to do Misty, but I'm also going to do Coinbase and probably the preferred stocks that go along with it as well. We'll do those tonight. We will do those tonight. Come on, Bitcoin, just bounce. Stay bounced. We definitely don't want to take out this low. I surely don't want to. Anyway, hopefully we're just making a higher low. Everything's great. Everything is super. All right, guys. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about? Dwarf, what's Dwarf? The holiday rally is coming next week. Okay, I've been waiting forever, but there is no Dwarf. He just wants to see me type Dwarf. The Dorfman Family Trust. Oh, gosh. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. But yeah, tonight for sure, Misty Monday. And we'll also do some other Bitcoins. I try to make it interesting. It's not very interesting following Mr. because, but I'll throw in some other stuff to make it interesting. All right. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.